Cincinnati, AP, James Conner ran for 111 yards and a pair of touchdowns on the eve of Le'Veon Bell's possible return, and Antonio Brown turned a short pass into a 31-yard touchdown with 10 seconds left as the Pittsburgh Steelers pulled off another improbable comeback in Cincinnati, beating the Bengals 28-21 on Sunday. The Steelers 3-2-1 have won 8 in a row against their AFC North rival, 3 times rallying in the final minute at Paul Brown Stadium to keep it going. After Joe Mixon's 4-yard touchdown run with 1:18 left got the Bengals 4-2, thinking this might finally be the time they end the streak, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers stunned them again. Brown caught a short pass and outran the secondary for the winning score, leaving thousands of Steelers fans twirling their towels in the stands. The Steelers are 16-2 at Paul Brown Stadium during Marvin Lewis' 16 seasons as Bengals coach, including a pair of playoff wins. Same outcome as usual. This one ended with a brief scuffle after Andy Dalton's final pass fell incomplete, leaving him 3-12 all-time against Pittsburgh. The Steelers have found their stride behind Conner, who became the featured back when Bell decided to hold out. He has run for more than 100 yards in each of the last 2 games, and his 2 one-yard touchdown runs Sunday put him in the company of a pair of Steelers Hall of Famers. Conner has 7 rushing touchdowns in 6 games, joining Franco Harris (1976) and Jerome Bettis (2004) as the only Steelers with that accomplishment. Dolphins 31, Bears 28, OT Miami Gardens, Florida. AP, Jason Sanders kicked a 47-yard field goal on the final play of overtime after Cody Parkey missed a 53-yard try for the Chicago Bears, who blew an 11-point lead in the final 16 minutes of regulation. Miami's Brock Osweiler threw for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns, subbing for Ryan Tannehill, who sat out because of an injured throwing shoulder. Albert Wilson turned 2 short passes into long touchdowns in the fourth quarter and finished with 155 yards on 6 receptions. The Dolphins took the kickoff to start overtime, marched 74 yards and were on the verge of victory when Kenyon Drake fumbled just before crossing the goal line. Eddie Goldman recovered for the Bears, who then drove to the Miami 35. But former Dolphin Parkey was wide right on his attempt with 2 minutes left. Miami, 4-2, snapped a 2-game losing streak and ended a 3-game winning streak for Chicago, 3-2. The Bears' offense came alive after they trailed 7-0 at halftime. Miami then rallied from a 21-10 deficit in the final 16 minutes of regulation to tie the game twice and force overtime. Mitchell Trubisky threw for 316 yards and 3 second-half touchdowns, but the Bears were hurt by 2 turnovers in the red zone. Jordan Howard lost a fumble at the 1, and Trubisky was intercepted in the end zone by T.J. McDonald. Falcons 34, Buccaneers 29 Atlanta, AP, Matt Ryan threw for 354 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Falcons snapped a 3-game losing streak, holding off Tampa Bay and Jameis Winston's return as Buccaneers starting quarterback. The Falcons, 2-4, scored on their first 3 possessions and held off a wild comeback by Tampa Bay, 2-3, avoiding their first 1-5 start since 2007. Winston and the Bucs almost pulled off a miracle on the final play of the game after driving to the Atlanta 21. With no timeouts, the quarterback took the snap and tried to surprise the Falcons by taking off up the middle of the field. When he was about to be tackled at the 10, he pitched toward receiver Adam Humphries, who couldn't hang on. The ball skipped to Mike Evans, who blindly flung it in the direction of Deshaun Jackson at the 5. Jackson might have had a chance to dive for the end zone, but he couldn't come up with another bouncing ball. It hopped out of bounds to end the game. Jackson ripped off his helmet, kicked the pylon in disgust and headed straight for the locker room. Winston threw for 395 yards and 4 TDs but also had a pair of interceptions. Ryan's 3 TD passes gave him 274 in his career, passing Joe Montana for 16th on the career list. Jets 42, Colts 34 East Rutherford, NJ. AP, Jason Myers kicked a franchise record 7 field goals, Sam Darnold threw 2 touchdown passes, and the Jets held on to win consecutive games for the first time in more than a year. Morris Claiborne returned the first of 3 interceptions thrown by Andrew Luck for a touchdown as the Jets, 3-3, moved to .500 by taking advantage of mistakes by the short-handed Colts, 1-5, who lost their 4th straight. With Joe Namath and the 1968 Super Bowl winning team celebrating its 50th anniversary, Darnold was 24 of 30 for 280 yards, with TD throws to Terrell Pryor and Chris Herndon and an interception to give New York its first back-to-back victories since taking 3 in a row in weeks 3-5 last season. Myers hit field goals from 30, 48, 32, 37, 45, 37 and 45 yards to break the Jets' record previously held by Jim Turner, 1968, the kicker for the Super Bowl champions, and Bobby Howfield, 1972. Luck was 23 of 43 for 301 yards with touchdowns to Marcus Johnson, Eric Ebron, Eric Swoop and Chester Rogers, the last coming with 1:51 left to make the score close. Neil Sterling recovered the Colts' onside kick to seal the win for the Jets. Texans 19, Bills 14. Houston, AP, Jonathan Joseph's 28-yard interception return for a touchdown with 1:23 remaining lifted the Texans. Houston trailed by 3 when Phillip Gaines was called pass interference on Will Fuller in the end zone with 2 minutes remaining, moving the Texans 41 yards to the 1-yard line. But the Texans, 3-3, lost 7 yards on 3 plays, capped by an incomplete pass intended for Ryan Griffin that Matt Milano knocked down to force Houston to kick. A 27-yard field goal by Kaimi Fairburn tied it with 1:34 remaining. 2 plays later, Joseph stepped in front of a pass from backup Nathan Peterman intended for Kelvin Benjamin and dashed untouched into the end zone to put the Texans on top and help them avoid their 3rd straight overtime game. Kareem Jackson intercepted Peterman with 35 seconds left to secure the victory, dropping Buffalo to 2-4. Joseph's late-game heroics helped Houston to its 3rd straight win on a day that quarterback Deshaun Watson committed 3 turnovers. Vikings 27, Cardinals 17. Minneapolis, AP, Latavius Murray helped the Minnesota Vikings revive their running attack with 155 yards and a touchdown on 24 carries, wearing down the Cardinals. Even Kirk Cousins joined the fun for the Vikings, 3-2-1, with an option-style run across the goal line in the 3rd quarter, before throwing to Adam Thielen for a score on the following possession. Thielen had 11 receptions for 123 yards, his 6th straight 100-yard game to become the first player in the NFL since 1961 to start a season with a streak that long. Thielen's 58 catches are the most in league history through 6 games. Budda Baker returned a fumble off a sack by Chandler Jones for a 36-yard touchdown and Trey Boston had a diving interception later in the 2nd quarter, and the Cardinals, 1-5, constantly pressured Cousins with 4 sacks, 7 hits and 7 deflected passes. Cousins managed to complete 24 of 34 attempts for 233 yards, thanks mostly to Thielen and his exceptional ability to get open anywhere on the field and turn off-target throws into clutch catches. Seahawks 27, Raiders 3. London, AP, Russell Wilson threw for 3 touchdowns, including one off a botched snap in the 2nd quarter. Chris Carson rushed for 59 yards and rookie Rashad Penny gained an additional 43 for the Seahawks, 3-3, who played to a vociferously supportive crowd. A London record 84,922 were in attendance, despite the Raiders' 1-5 being the designated home team. Oakland quarterback Derek Carr left with an apparent left arm injury with 8:52 remaining in the 4th quarter after the last of his 6 sacks and did not have the chance to return before the Seahawks ran out the clock. Carr went 23 for 31 for 142 yards. He was hit by Jaron Reed on 3rd down and immediately grabbed his upper left arm as he sat up before being helped to the sideline for evaluation. Wilson, who completed 17 of 23 attempts for 222 yards with an interception, connected with Jaron Brown for a 5-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter, a 19-yard touchdown pass to David Moore in the second, and a 10-yard touchdown pass to Tyler Lockett in the fourth. After picking up a low snap, Wilson faked the throw and stepped forward, then made a throw to Moore over Darrell Worley. Punctuated his touchdown, his third in the Seahawks' past 2 games, by accidentally crashing into and tumbling over the temporary video advertising boards set up around the field. Sebastian Janikowski, who joined the Seahawks in the offseason after 17 seasons with the Raiders, made 2 field goals. Redskins 23, Panthers 17. Landover, MD. AP, Josh Norman bounced back from his primetime benching by intercepting former teammate Cam Newton and forcing a fumble. Norman ended his 19-game interception drought by catching a jump ball thrown by Newton on a 3rd and long play early in the second quarter, his first pick since Deck. 2016. Norman also popped the ball out of Panthers rookie receiver DJ Moore's hands in a showcase performance against the team that abruptly cut ties with him after his All-Pro 2015 season. Newton threw for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns on 27 of 40 passing and rushed for 43 yards and a turnover-marred loss. He engineered a late drive that got the Panthers to the Washington 16-yard line, but threw incomplete on 2nd, 3rd and 4th downs to seal the loss. Carolina, 3-2, was long before that doomed by turnovers, including Moore's on a punt return that set up Smith's 22-yard TD pass to Davis. In his second game with the Panthers, safety Eric Reid continued his tradition of kneeling during the national anthem. Reid took a knee just at the corner of the American flag on the field by the Carolina sideline, the only Panthers player to do so. Reid last week became the first Carolina player to kneel during the Star-Spangled Banner. Chargers 38, Browns 14. Cleveland, AP, Phillip Rivers threw 2 touchdown passes to Tyrell Williams, the veteran quarterback, threw a block, and Melvin Gordon had 3 TD runs as the Chargers banged around rookie Baker Mayfield and the Browns. The 36-year-old Rivers continued one of the best starts of his 15-year career, leading the Chargers 4-2 to their 3rd straight win. Rivers finished 11 of 20 for 207 yards, and had only 1 mistake, an interception midway through the fourth quarter. San Diego did most of its damage on the ground, with Gordon running for 132 yards and scoring on runs of 4, 10 and 11 yards. Rivers and Williams connected on scoring plays of 45 and 29 yards in the first half, and Gordon's 11-yard run put the Chargers up 35-6. Field's 3rd start as a pro was a rough one. The No. 1 overall pick was sacked 5 times, tweaked his ankle when he slid on a sideline marker and threw 2 interceptions. The Browns 2-3-1 were blown out after playing 5 tight games, 3 going to overtime, and showed there's still a long road ahead. ____ more AP NFL, https://appnews.com/tag/NFL and https://twitter.com/app_NFL